very interesting. The Daily Mail bit that's coming down on Tuesday. Now, I have heard people on the Daily Mail side are very confident they're going to win. I've heard from other people that they may lose on one bit about Harry claiming that Chelsea Davies' flight was blagged, that they got it through means. However, even during the trial, the reporter basically said, no, I don't know where that information came from. Someone gave it to me. Then there's no proof that anyone was actually paid. And in fact, the only winner out of this is going to be Harry's lawyer, David Sherborne. Now, David Sherborne has made millions off of the phone hacking cases stemming from years, okay? He will take cases pro bono, whatnot, and then gets a major cut of the winnings when he wins. The problem is, if he doesn't win, there's still a lot of money to be paid. And who is on the hook for that? Can't be Harry. Harry don't have no money. Liz Hurley doesn't have any money. Baroness doesn't have any money. Elton John has the money. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Sorry, I slurped. Jet lagged. Here's where it gets interesting. I am hearing from several people, oh, well, Harry and Meghan are in Europe. They're at the south of France at Elton's house, awaiting the verdict, having a grand old time at it. By the way, the kids are there with them. They're all on a family holiday in Europe. Some people say he's in Portugal at that supposed place that they supposedly had bought from Jack Brooksbank, right? Eugenie's husband. They don't own a place in Portugal. Those places start at $2 million. They don't have that money. They don't own a place in Portugal. They have not been to Portugal. They haven't been over in a very long time. All right. The whole thing about Harry and Meghan buying a place there is an old school PR marketing ploy. All right. Jack Brooksbank's job is to market that very expensive housing development and vacation development. All right. And that was a marketing ploy to just let it slip. Harry and Meghan now have a place in Portugal, right by Princess Eugenie. First of all, it ain't libel. There's no libel to say that they bought a place when they didn't buy a place. But I'm telling you, they didn't buy a damn place in Portugal. All right. Boom. So they are in Europe. Some people are saying it's with Elton. However, other people are saying there's a massive row now between Harry and Elton. Both sides are feeling wronged. Both sides are now saying, oh my God, you got me into this lawsuit. And they're blaming each other, whatnot. Here's the deal. I don't know. I did hear from good sources that they were with Elton, but then I'm hearing from another people that that Elton and Harry have a rift now. Either way, both fools them. Either way, like with Harry, something could change tomorrow because he will stamp his little feet, wave his little fists, and be like, no, no, no. This is what I want. I want this. And then he will go do it. Oh, God, that poor fool. I mean, honestly, watching Harry and Meghan reminds me of why I didn't have children. First of all, I can't stand a 2-year-old tantrum. Second of all, you can't be sure that those kids are going to take care of you when you get older. Look at it, Meghan with her father. I mean, that poor man, right? Look at Harry with his father. All he's done is cause himself grief. Thank God there's another brother, William, and thank God William was born first, hey? Because, geez, it's a mind blower. What if they were only children and that was your kid? No way. It's like I always said, you can't count on your kids. What if one of them turns out to be Jeffrey Dahmer? The Dahmers did not take into account that their son would turn out to be a cannibalist. No, they did not. Anyway, I digress. This is another reason why I never had children. But they are tantrum throwing, nasty little children. saying one thing, doing another, putting people's livelihoods at risk. And by that, I mean anyone who was fool enough to go work for Invictus, who was fool enough to put their name to it, anyone who was fool enough to work for them. You know, you look at poor Meredith Maines, their former PR person. She's lovely. She had a great reputation. Then she worked for them, and good on her. The second they pulled the BS at the Kardashian party, you know, at the Sanchez Bezos house, where they said, we didn't sign a check a box. Oh my God, we need the photos taken down. The second they did that, Meredith gave her notice. And poor Liam, I don't understand why he can't give his notice, except for he probably has bills to pay, and his reputation has been so horrifically ruined by working for them. Go with God, Liam. But here's what we can look forward to. We can look forward to a documentary. We can look forward to Meghan. You know, she's the wild card. If they get really broke, don't think there won't be no book, okay? And this is a very tricky, tricky trip for King Charles. When they come, they are coming. Does he see them? Does he not see them? Does he see them with Camilla? Or does he simply have aides mingling around the room? So if something should get too touchy, all of a sudden the aides are like, sir, your next meeting, sir. Because that also happens, you know. He can't be alone with them. No one can, because of course recollections always vary. I don't know what the laws are for taping in London. I do in the States, all 50. However, there you go. I would love for somebody to break an NDA, by the way, and talk to me about these fools, because they're not nice. They're just not. I'm sure there's something I've forgotten to talk about. Again, let's be clear, jet lagged. And I've got a dog sleeping at my feet. Speaking of which, we've now come to the portion of the Daily Doug. Deep Thoughts with Doug. And I have to be honest with you. Right now, Doug has no deep thoughts except for one word, mother. I always like to tell people that I raise my dogs in the Norman Bates method, that there's only mother. My last dog before Doug was a guy named Carl, and Carl was full Norman Bates. I used to wake up at 2 a.m. and I'd be like, what's going on? And I'd look and he'd just be sitting there staring at me. And I was like, oh, he wants to stuff me and put me in a rocker so I don't leave ever. Doug is getting there. And so therefore, I shall bring you, I already put this up, but I have to show you again. This is Doug welcoming my little wavering butt home after I'd left him for a week. Is there a baby in the house? Oh my God. Hi. 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 Oh, I missed you. Oh, I missed you so much. I missed you. You are the baby. You are the baby. And a camera boop. Come on. How great is that kid? I love him so much. And I did see in the comments while I was watching, didn't Harry buy insurance? Who knows? He didn't buy insurance for the Invictus Warrior like Scott Snow, who got hurt in the Dusseldorf games and is now thousands of pounds in the hole and can't afford to have rehab, can he? Because Canada paid for his back and neck surgery, but didn't pay for the rehab. By the way, the GoFundMe is live. Thank you all. Anyone who has contributed to Scott Snow, I appreciate you. And Scott appreciates you. And yeah, so who knows? If I know that the government will likely have insurance, and if the Invictus games have to be pulled, it'll be insurance, it'll be a write-off. But here we go. This is so exciting, this trip. It's going to be an amazing week. Again, the Daily Mail will be put down. And, you know, Harry had 14 claims against the Daily Mail. 14. All of which were disproven. He's now being called a complete liar. And because of all the stuff, I never met Charlotte Griffiths, who he, you know, of course he met. Not only did he meet, but they were friendly. And you know, it's weird. It's weird to have to deal with a guy who, for once in his life, when he says something, he's not protected anymore and people can call you out. You know, it's what happens when you leave the palace walls. There are pros and cons. The pros was he got about a year or two living like a king in Montecito until he and Meghan's personality flipped everyone off and they all ran screaming. The cons are, well, look at this, isn't it? All right, you guys, like, subscribe, hype, whatever. I adore you. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for putting up with, once again, well, daddy calling. I can't help that. I really can't. I don't know how to get it off my computer, but also putting up with the microphone and whatnot. I really adore you and I appreciate you. I will see you later this week. And of course, I'll fill you in on the updates from the Daily Mail. Okay, bye.